Yes, good afternoon, all the analysts. And today is the performance, the reporting for the first half of year 2017 of the INTOUCH Holding Public Company. And today we receive an honor from Kun Anek Patana Pichon, the acting CEO, and also the Kim Siri, which is the Vice Managing Director, to present the company performance. Thank you. Yes, good afternoon for all the analysts and bankers and investors. We are very familiar with all of you. The Taikon had mentioned a lot, so INTOUCH will focus at the venture cap and also the new business. If you look at the first half of the year, it came from the advance and also the Taikon. The performance dropped down 20%, and the others that look because of the Thai shopping that we invested today is a second year. Yeah, and also we had the performance improve, so the numbers improved slightly. About the concern about the Taikon and advance, Pipai and Kun Somchai had talked a lot. And then to answer the questions of many analysts from the roadshow yesterday. But anyway, the dividend policy we can still retain at 70%, and with all the things we probably deducted about 200 for the OPEC. But since we use the equity method, so the numbers may be quite complicated, but hold on to the cash flow. After the OPEC, we send out the dividend 100% after the OPEC deduction. So by using the equity method from the old time until now, we use this one. So the cash flow is the one that after fact. So in order to monitor the performance, and this is the best way to look at the performance of the subsidiaries. So I go to the high shopping. For this one, we invested about 250 million, not that much. It's a business that we joint venture with the Hyundai Home Shopping Center. And in terms of the platform, we got for the Dai Home Shopping. Right now, the performance, the sale almost 2 million per day. If it's more than this, so 3 million, it's going to be the break-even cash flow of this particular business. Right now, the sales strategy doesn't rely on satellite TV alone. We lease the airtime, and from the airtime is a 25% contribution of the total revenue from the TV. And from the high shopping, they started to do the e-commerce with Lazada, 11th Street, and social commerce will follow. So if you notice that this particular group of clients have repeat orders, 1 in 3 is a repeat to buy the products that we have. So this one, so it's a different segment from the housewife, but the knowledge by this one, we can use it further for the e-commerce business in the future. In terms of the venture capital, this is a VC that left. We have about 9 of them from the one that we had. We monetized 2 already. Even the IRR from the investment is about 20 to 30%. The policy for investment is a TAT and digital related. But we have to admit that the thing that we had invested, especially the things about the game business. Game, if it's a hit, but it can fly. But if fail, it just lost. So if we look at the business model, if it doesn't fly, we also impair about 2 or 3 of them in the game. And the one that's still OB, the OB is a first VCI, is still going good. And in terms of value, compared with the money they put in, the value increased 5 to 6 times, but it has not recognized in the book. But this one, we have some
DGO
DGO is the latest one that we invested, and we also have profit. And lately we invested in the Series A. Series A is a little bit more expensive, but compared with the risk about it is more and we also coach in investment. We cap the risk of the investment money that we put in. We consider about the next round of putting in the money. We look at the potential, or if we see the VC that is we can do the M&A or to increase the stake in that particular company. The role of AIS startup and VC, we divided, like Kun Somchai had mentioned, AIS is more like incubator for the startups, but in the same that we have the business model and can commercialize the investment going to be INTOUCH that will take over. So we have 2 or 3 of them that have the potential to do the IPO in the next 2 or 3 years, like Wong Nai, Ok B, and DGO.
ส่วนในด้านผมกลับมาที่
Now let's come back to the direction of the INTOUCH. The CEO resigned, and I believe that we will have the new one pretty soon. And the growth strategy, like I told you, that in terms of doing the business, we said that 80-20 is a non-AIS, but now we come back to focus on the dividends. We receive the dividends like 70% from AIS less, and we are trying to do that will not have the impact on this particular dividend. But we do not just focus on. We have 1,700 in cash on hand. So if we can invest in the digital and we can synergize with the group, we are still looking for the opportunities for the investment. But anyway, if we see the project that we can synergize with the group and also be a strategic move, we can. But at the beginning, we have this particular frame about to maintain the dividend policy. So our main presentation is about short, and then the rest will be the Q&A. Kun Kim taking care of the VC, and then he's ready to answer your questions as well. If you have questions, please raise your hands. Our staff will bring you the microphone. Any more questions for INTOUCH? Please, Kun Wisut. Thank you. Visit from CMB. Kun Anek นะคะ I would like to know, once you take this over from Kun Philip, the strategy, would you change the strategy or you carry on until the new CEO will come? And if Kun Anek, are you a candidate to be the new CEO of INTOUCH? The first question I will maintain, yes, we have reviewed the strategy already, and we come back to focus on to pass through dividend. Try not to have the negative impact on the dividend, because we know that the dividend that we receive is declined, but we are not going to take that opportunity to reduce the dividend. The second question, I don't know. Kun Kim ค่ะ and Kun Anek talking about the IPO of the new startup that you invested in. For this one, you have to wait for the government to open the startups. We're talking about the IPO at the present. Yeah, some of them, yeah, they are qualified to get to the like a MAI market. And how about your strategy? Like, because for the VC, once you get to the market, they exit, or sometimes they hang on with us. But for you, what criteria or considerations about this strategy? Yeah, we're still open. We don't really have the clear policy that once the IPO, then they need to exit. We will see about the value continuity of that particular with our company. We have to wait to see. Okay, I would like you to update about the pipeline deal that you have in the port. So you still have the good momentum or not? Because the government sector also promote the startup companies. Okay. If you're talking about the VC, in terms of segment of VC, we have 4 or 5 ventures that we are considering. But for what I would like to say, once we conclude the deal, then we can announce that that is more, less from, or the bubble had already burst or what? No, the bubble had not yet burst. No, let's see. We, okay, internally we have the process for consideration that is clear as you compare to the 5 years ago. At the beginning, you will see that we probably invested in the risk and we realized that is a high risk. But lately, we focus on the Series A. That means we need some income and have the growth potential to protect the list. When compare, we may pay a little bit more, but we compare with the risk that we would take. With the reduced risk, it's worth to do it. Yes, any more questions? Oh, I forgot to ask. Oh wait, how are you the candidate as the CEO? No. Yes, next questions if you have. Or if you don't have any more questions, I would like to conclude all the sessions, and I would like to thank you all the executives who answer all the questions and explain all the performance to all the analysts and investors. Before we leave, I would like to ask all the analysts to fill in the questionnaire so we can use it to develop the analyst meeting next time to be better. Thank you so much.